Peace. I'm back on again. I wanted to share a conversation that I had last night. I took a Uber from where I work at to my home, and the gentleman that was the Uber driver, he was Caucasian. He went in movies such as Triple X, with Ice Cube and many other movies, and we talked about the state of Maryland or Maryland. We talked about the Revolutionary War. Well, he asked me what is my hobbies and what am I into, and I literally told him, well, I do a lot of research on African spirituality. I do a lot of research dealing with African culture, and most of all, like I like to read on information as such. Dealing with our people or who we are and so on. And here's the thing: we were talking about George Washington. And then I said to him, "Well, George Washington received letters and so on from the Sultan of Morocco." And he turned around and said, "You're absolutely right." He said out his mouth that the Moors is who George Washington knew about, and that the Moors were over here in the U.S. Because I spoke to him about Mansa Musa, how he came over here and with ships, and how his wealth, if it was around today, it would be like $500 trillion or more. He pretty much agreed. He said, Mansa Musa, was he a Moor? And I started laughing. And that's when he was like, well, the Moors were over here. And, also they played a serious part and role in European history. I said, yeah, they were around during the Dark Ages. And that's when the Enlightenment came and the Renaissance. And he said, you're absolutely right. I said, yeah, they're the ones that brought forth that. And they also taught Freemasonry to Europeans or Caucasian people. And he agreed. He was like, you're absolutely right. And I'm like, yeah. And that's when I started talking to him about, I told him, yeah, yes, I'm a Moor, sir. Like, I am one too. He's like, of course you are. He's like, of course you are. And he was like, man, he was like, this is very fascinating. He said that the Moors enslaved the Europeans or the Caucasians. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what I said? They enslaved the Caucasians. And now the plot twisted and everything is being twisted. So the thing that I'm saying is this: when it comes down to knowledge of self, when it comes down to studying who you are, keep studying, cross reference, back and forth. Know what you're saying and know that you and have the proof in front of you, because right now there's no more time for debating. It's over. The debating is over. But I will say, when you start getting the information of knowledge of self, give thanks to whom gave you the information. Pay homage to them. Because one thing you don't want to do is not pay homage to those that paved the way. Because you will start showing the mental illness that is plaguing our community. And that is what they call narcissism. That is what they call um, wanting to be worshipped. I pay homage to Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Malachi York, Malcolm X, Clarence 13X. Um, I even give it thanks to Elijah Muhammad, because he was known as Elijah Pugay, Noble Drew Ali, just to name a few. Um, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Dr. James Amos. Thank what's his, oh my gosh, Chancellor Williams. Um, wow, Shannon, a gentleman named Shannon Jolly who wrote this book called Blinds, Distortion of Historical Facts. I recommend that book, highly recommend it. Blinds, Distortion of Historical Facts. To all my melanated brothers and sisters, that book right there will crack open your skull. It have the breakdown of who the Israelites really are, or the true Hebrews really are, has the years in it, and it has a lot of information in it. A gentleman named Shannon Jolly wrote that book. You know, once you find out who you are, that's something right there. And also another book I recommend from Babylon to Timbuktu. Get those two books, cross-reference those, and then you want to start going into the Anunnaki information. Then you want to go into this really the starseed information. Um, there's another book written by the Empress of the Washita Moors, The Return of the Ancient Ones. You want to get that too, okay? And she have that. That's on Amazon, and then you'll be surprised on how Louisiana was illegally purchased. You know, it's a lot of stuff that people don't want to talk about, and they keep on trying to sweep under the rug. I just want to bring information to wake up the people, mainly the melanated star children and the human race, so they can know the sheer breakdown of what we as a people, melanated or what they consider so-called black, Negro color, what is actually known as the Moors and known as many other names, the indigenous people of the planet. I really want people to understand or understand and overstand and understand the true definition of who we are. We are everything. We are everything. These are nothing more than labels. We went through different schools during those times. We pretty much helped create everything on this planet. Another book to get is a book called Legacy of the Black Gods by Paul Simon. Paul Simon wrote a book called Legacy of the Black Gods. I recommend you get that book. And it breaks down the Masonic order, and then briefly talk about how the Masonic order was actually called the School of Poseidon. The School of Poseidon. You ask yourself, who on earth is Poseidon? Poseidon was the god of the sea. Okay? Ancient Greek deity of the sea. This location, the Mystery Schools of Poseidon, is where the star seeds and also where they would meet none other than their twin flame, and they would learn the arcane arts. What is the arcane arts? Some of you call it Ifa, Santeria, Voodoo, uh, Hoodoo. These are ancient practices, ladies and gentlemen, and they learned the arcane arts in this mystery school. You have to remember this, because in the teachings of Dr. Malachi York, those that became forgetful, they were called Enoshites. Enoshites were the ones that forgot. So now we're going to another path of understanding. So, you know, it's a lot to take in, but this information I just want to share with you. Um, there's another book that I recommend, Psychic Self-Defense by Dion Fortune. You have to protect your psyche from spiritual attacks. Another book is called The Etheric Double. You really need to learn your etheric double and what it does and what it's connected to. You know, see, a lot of this information, people try to say, "Oh, this is your information." No, this is stuff that I studied and researched years and years ago, and I'm talking about like probably like 14 years ago. Okay, it's it's phenomenal when you go into research and go into depth. of all of this. This is why the earlier live stream I did dedicated to the ones that heard the call, because when your ears ring, it's a call. Okay, many are called, but few are chosen. All of y'all saying, "Oh, I'm chosen, I'm chosen." You really have to look into that, because are you chosen on the? Are you being called on what path? Because there's multitudes of paths, but then at the same time, are you called to be a priest or a priestess? They are the real ones that's here that save the planet. The healers. The healers are the ones that are here to save the planet. The healers. The healers, the teachers, the divine teachers, the healers, the uh the shamans, the alchemists, the herbalists, the ones that see the ancestral spirits, they are being called to the forefront. That's why I said many are called, few are chosen. See, I'm at the point like this, and I'm gonna say it and I'll put out there, homeboy. I know you watch my channel, and I know I don't have that many followers or subscribers, but I do know that you do use a lot of my intake and a lot of my information. And what you do, you break it down to dumb it down so you can break it down to the people of your audience. That's cool, but I really want people to understand who taught you. That's what I really want the people to know. Who taught you? It wasn't Bobby Hemmett, and it was not Phil Valentine. The person that was behind the curtain was the one that was teaching. And the people that is in the circle that yours truly is a part of now, they know. The sister named Teresa, she knows. All other people know. Now, the thing is, with this, what I'm being drawn to say in this particular stream, if you're going to use this info dealing with the chosen ones, you need to give people credit where credit is due, because the real chosen ones heard the call and they're going into the path of the righteous. They're going into the path where it's not dealing with just scripture. They're going into the path of priesthoods, and they're going into the ancient practices and knowing that it's a big deal, because those people that practice Santeria, Ifa, Voodoo, guess what? That goes all the way back hundreds and thousands of years, back to the time of Lemuria, back of the time of, yes, Lemuria, Atlantis, the time when the Anunnaki were here, the time when the reptilians were revealing themselves, and it wasn't just them; it was other beings from other star systems, star nations that were here on this planet. And the people that were priestesses and priests, they had powers and gifts, able to levitate, able to move objects with their mind, telekinesis, able to move water with their minds, with their psychic abilities, hydrokinesis, even were able to fire bend, okay, pyrokinesis. See, we have to remember this. See, when I talk about these ancient practices, these are to activate your gifts. They are not meant to put spells on nobody. They're meant to activate your gifts, your powers, in all your chakras in your body, and to have the proper alignment with the planets that are in this galaxy, which is the Milky Way galaxy, which is the 18th galaxy. So therefore, we have to go through a metamorphosis. Those that heard the call, it's time for the metamorphosis to take place so we can go into the next dimension, and also into the next phase, to make sure that everything is done right. Because know it or not, beloveds, there is a such thing as the four horsemen. It is true. But you got to remember, it's also written in our ancient texts about all this stuff. The coming of the Caucasian, all of this. There's so much that I want to touch bases on, but I just wanted to say this so we can actually know your evolution, star children, to graduate from hearing the call and going on your righteous path. You are the real chosen ones, the ones that have to excel to become a priest or priestess or herbalist or alchemist and so on, a Sangoma and all of the above. Those that became Buddhists, those that became, it's the next phase that you got to go through to seek the enlightenment of the galaxies. Because you're made out of stardust, and then what happened when you came into this world, into this womb, the proper alignments of the planets, when the planets were aligned and what they consider time, you came out the Stargate, which is the womb of the mother, and you were giving the blueprint of who you are, the contract, which is none other than your natal astrological charts. This is true. Look this stuff up. Don't take the words that I say. Look it up yourself. Till then, beloveds, love, peace, and to thy own self be true and know thyself. Islam, peace, love, light. Namaste.